Most of these people know they're breaking the law. They're showing support for Palestine Action, an organisation prescribed by the government under the Terrorism Act. Within minutes of the silent protest beginning, teams of officers were making arrests, not always easily.
I am about to be arrested, that's correct, yes.
Why are you happy to be arrested?
I'm a retired consultant surgeon. We are here to protest about the genocide that's occurring in Gaza.
You're carrying the placard of a prescribed terrorist organisation.
That's correct, because there's no way this organisation should be prescribed. It doesn't meet the legal criteria. There's going to be a successful legal challenge in the High Court.
The actions of hundreds of marker pens that have brought so many police to Parliament Square today. Everybody here demonstrating has been writing on their placards the name of an organisation that's prescribed by the government as a terrorist one. So that opens them up to being arrested, and it's something that most of them are willing to face.
I know that Palestine Action are carrying out important work. I think it's absolutely the case they should not be a terrorist organisation.
Are you prepared to be arrested then?
I am assuming I'm going to be arrested any minute now, yes.
Oh, are you? Really?
That's,
okay.
The police are getting closer and closer.
So you've got an overnight bag?
I've got my pyjamas in my bag, I've got a book to read in the police station. Yeah, happy to do my small bit in the face of genocide.
Plenty of others willing to do their bit too. The Metropolitan Police say they're confident they've arrested everyone at the protest with a placard expressing support for Palestine Action, a fact disputed by the organisers Defend Our Juries, who say it was only a fraction. The classification of Palestine Action as a terrorist organisation was put in place after members of the group broke into the Royal Air Force Base in Brize Norton in June, causing, according to the government, £7 million worth of damage.
This is not about the lawful right to protest. There are many ways for people to protest, to say their views, and there's also a lot of people who feel rightly very strongly about some of the appalling scenes we've seen happening in Gaza and the West Bank. But this is about whether there's action against our national security in the UK where we have to have proper safeguards in place.
The legitimacy of the ban is disputed by civil rights groups.
There are quite clear international definitions around what constitutes terrorism, and simply destroying property, causing damage, even hurting someone, these could very well be criminal acts and could very well need to be dealt with under criminal law, but they don't necessarily constitute terrorism.
Nonetheless, those arrested today are subject to anti-terrorism laws and could face up to a maximum sentence of 14 years in prison, putting more strain on an already overcrowded system.
Every time you process somebody, not only is that time and a cell space, but obviously there's a financial element to that as well, kitting people out for prison.
And putting pressure on the system to effect change is, of course, what all this is about. But at what cost? The Met Police say they've spent over £50 million staffing pro-Palestine demonstrations in the months since the start of the Israel-Gaza war.
And in the last few minutes, the Home Secretary, Yvette Cooper, has said the right to protest is one we protect fiercely, but insisted that was very different from displaying support for Palestine Action, which she said was prescribed based on serious attacks involving violence, significant injuries and extensive criminal damage.
People complicit in the genocide. Arrest the people that are selling arms, that are bombing, killing, allowing the starving of a whole nation.
I would say the police officer said I had 2 words in my mouth.
What happened?
Give us some space, please. Space. Like that way, please. Yeah, that's why I'm asking for space. So we can safe, please.
Judge, please clear the way. Thank you. Please.
Watch pavement, just step out of the way.
I think that everybody's doing their job.
Gurpreet, where you are, quite a number of arrests.
Yeah, it's just been arrest after arrest after arrest. The Met Police, in advance of today's protest, had warned people to consider the criminal consequences of their actions today, but those warnings weren't heeded. We've had about 50 arrests already, and before this even got started, at about 1 o'clock, there was a gentleman who was holding a placard saying, "I support Palestine Action." The police came up to him, searched him, and said, "You're showing support for a terrorist organisation," and took him away. And from then on, it was just a stream of arrests. I was standing right here, and on my right, there were two elderly gentlemen sitting on the floor shouting their support for Palestine Action. About 8 police officers crowded around them, took them away, 2 carrying the feet, 2 carrying the arms, the others surrounding them. And then just over there, I mean, you can't see it, but we've got some statues of Mahatma Gandhi, of some suffragettes. People sitting in front of those statues with placards saying that they support Palestine Action. Obviously, the symbolism, I don't need to tell you the symbolism of what that means. Eventually, after about 5 to 10 minutes, the police crowded around them and took them away. There was actually a woman over there who was being carried away, and she looked limp, almost like she had passed out. And so there are a huge number of people here, all ignoring warnings from the Met Police that they might face arrest. Some of them, many of them, carrying placards saying that they support Palestine Action, and all of them acting in defiance of that decision to prescribe the organisation as a terrorist organisation last month. That was pushed through by the Home Secretary, Yvette Cooper, and it came after a group of activists from Palestine Action broke into a military base and sprayed 2 RAF planes with red paint. The Home Secretary said that that presented a major security risk and therefore met the definition of terrorism. But a lot of people here, it was controversial, it was widely controversial, and a lot of people here believe that that's some sort of attempt to shut down protest in this country. And so they've come here to protests. After a slew of protests already, about 200 people had already been arrested before this. Now we've got another 50, and I imagine that that number is only going to climb.
OK, Gurpreet in central London, thank you.
Brits born before 1980 with no life insurance may be eligible for this.